I'm gonna lasso Santa Claus, and I know just why, because I'm gonna pull on his beard to see if it's real. I'm gonna tickle him on the tummy because he laughs so funny. He's so fun. He's around at Christmas time. I'm gonna lasso Santa Claus. Reason because I know a boy and girl he never go see. Some toys like me, I'm gonna pop Santa Claus with my water pistol gun, and then take his bag and toys and run and give to all the kids who don't have none. I'm gonna lasso Santa Claus, and I know just why, because I'm gonna pull on his beard and make sure it's real. I'm gonna tickle him on the tummy because he laughs so funny. He's so jolly and so fine when he comes around at Christmas time. I'm gonna lasso Santa Claus. The reason is because I know a boy and girl he never goes see. He never buys him toys like he does for me. I'm gonna pop Santa Claus with my water pistol gun, and then take his bag and toys and run and go to all the kids who don't have none. And then take his bag of toys and run and give to all the kids who don't have none. So hey, all that and more at Mr. Beery's on December 15th, if you can stand me making an ass of myself. It's Dan. And of course you know that. I'm really excited because we're getting close to the date of our show. Okay. And our show is to benefit St. Vincent de Paul. Okay. And I had told people in the past what was the inspiration for me getting together with some of my buddies and putting this together. And the inspiration was that we did have a venue. I run a nonprofit that's here to restore things that are defunct or keep people from becoming and organizations from becoming defunct that are part of the so-called counterculture. And what people don't realize is that groups like Catholic workers and Catholics in general were at one point taboo and part of a counterculture and were really persecuted for their beliefs, right? And so basically, we had a venue out here, not far from where I live. I happen to live in Nassau County now, even though I'm originally from Gowanus, Brooklyn, represent. Um, we had a venue here called KJ Farrell's, uh, which had a lot of great music went through it. I mean, a lot of great music. And every year, around the middle of December, they used to have a show where all of these bands and artists and people converged on the place from all over the county, and I think also Suffolk County as well. People of all different walks of life, came together and they would just collect all kinds of stuff. They would collect canned food, they would collect mittens and hats and sweaters and scarves. They would collect toys, they would collect pet supplies, hygiene supplies, all kinds of stuff, coats, all kinds of stuff. They would just collect. And it would last either all day or sometimes all weekend. And then they would distribute it with the help of a reputable organization, whatever, to whoever in the community was in need. And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful event. A lot of people came out, in support of it. A lot of different organizations, a lot of different bands, all different genres, all kinds of stuff involved. And we ended up losing KJ Farrell's because when they had the restrictions during the pandemic, this really put a lot of hardship on our live music venues because people were not able to gather and get together, and it really made it difficult. And we ended up losing KJ Farrell's. And when we lost KJ Farrell's, we also lost that wonderful drive that they did every winter. Um, and I looked around and I saw, as always, there's a lot of people in Nassau County doing good things to help people in need. We have a lot of other venues that always helps the community out. Mulcahy's always helps the community out. Mr. Beery's always helps the community out. Both places. There's a lot of groups that help the community out. Run charity benefits or do shows or whatever it is, take donations to help people in the community. But it was nothing on that giant scale. And since my organization restores what's defunct, I'm the type of person, I don't like to sit there whining about it, waiting for somebody to like swoop in and do for me. I like to DIY, punk DIY. So I decided that that was something I wanted to do. And I'm not originally from Long Island. I'm originally from, Juanas from Brooklyn, represent again. And and so I wasn't sure what I don't like to do things without speaking to people who are from there, who know the story, who know what the needs of the community are, who know who the different groups are. And so I asked some of our younger musicians. I wanted to do a grunge show because I saw a great band called Hesitant. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Scott. I saw a great band called Hesitant, who's kind of on that shoegaze and grunge kind of vibe, and I really loved it. And there's a lot of great sounds that are in the genre of grunge or new grunge, whatever, that people really need to hear. And so I wanted to bring our younger people in, and have them be heard because there's some really cool stuff that they're doing. And I said, let's have a grunge Christmas, man. Let's have, I know Oscar the Grouch with the whatever on, you know what I mean? And so I asked them, I told them about what I was thinking, and I asked them where would be a good place? Where do you think a good venue out here on Long Island? Because I don't really know Long Island venues that much. Who would be willing to do the show? And they immediately sent Mr. Beery's, and they were telling me all these wonderful stories about how supportive the people at Mr. Beery's and Bethpage have been to our young musicians, our teenagers, our young college students, who maybe can't even go to the shows because they weren't all ages, and who are gigging musicians though, and very talented, and how much support and help and encouragement they got from the people over there at Mr. Beery's. At how much they do for the community. And, Mr. Beery's and Bethpage is known as the CBGBs of Long Island, which I like to poke fun at because I'm from the CBGBs on Bowery, and I don't believe there could ever be another one. There's no comparison, and I'm so glad that I was born um, early enough and I'm that old and I'm aging myself to be part of the Sunday matinees that Hilly did, and the benefit shows that Hilly did. Um, and but that's what they call it. And I just thought, how incredibly appropriate is it to have it at the CBGBs of Long Island and have people from the CBGBs on Bowery and the CBGBs on Long Island come together and just engage in mutual aid, just helping people who are in need. You know what I mean? And I can't do it big. I'm one person with a few friends, who know how to play some instruments. So, so I couldn't do the whole thing, but they very graciously gave us December 15th, and I'm looking really, the 7/15th, which is on a Sunday and a matinee. And the Sunday matinee was my church. So it's really symbolic and it's really wonderful to be able to be doing this show. And I went on the calendar the other day and I also saw that since we've been putting this show out and we put it on the calendar, other groups have come together as well. So we have the Toys for Tots, which we always have. We always have Toys for Tots. The U.S. Marine Corps, hoorah! We always have the Toys for Tots shows all over Long Island, all over New York. You see those big boxes everywhere, those big white boxes that you throw their $10 Barbie in or whatever it is, and it's a nice thing, and it's very New York. It's very much. Just like you see the Salvation Army Santas outside of Macy's, it's I love to see that. So of course we had the U.S. Marine Corps the other day, also over at Veery's, collecting for Toys for Tots, and then we have some other bands coming out, um, also doing benefit shows for the holidays for people in need, and then I'm noticing on the, let's see, I think it's the 13th, Friday the 13th, we have a whole bunch of bands coming together, tribute bands, punk ones, over at Beery's, who are also collecting for Toys for Tots. Then on Saturday, we have a whole crew of local punk rocker people, new punk, right? I don't like to say pop punk because I don't believe that's a real thing and it pisses me off. Uh, that's a discussion for another time. But, we see them putting something together. And then ours ended up, instead of being the first and only kind of gig doing this, we end up being the very last and the finale for the season of all this giving. And so I really hope that our show is a good finale to what Beery's has done. They heard what I was saying. They heard what I was saying, and we have an entire 2 weekends of nothing but bands getting together and giving back. And it just really warms my heart and it makes me so happy. And I hope that we can do it justice and be a really good finale show for what turned out to be amazing, amazing thing. Um, we now have the whole weekend of bands coming together from all over to a venue and collecting for people in need, which is what I wanted to restore. And I couldn't do it alone. I could only do one show, and even then, we've been working since October, me and the bands, to get this one off the ground and to make it nice. And there's been a lot of support from all over New York, from all different people who want to be part of the show. I have so many people that want to be part of the show. I had to turn people down, and I feel bad about that. And I have to get them alternative gigs. But it's really good, and I hope that our show is like a finale that really um, reminds people of the love of our scene, because we have a lot of people who talk about punk and they have certain views of what that meant and what it is. And you know, we have these panels and we have these movies and we have these books and we have these plays and films, wherever, where we're representing punks and we're talking about CBs and we're talking about all this stuff. And a lot of times it's about the drugs and the music and the violence and the dysfunction and the urban blight and the homelessness and, you know, the exploitation and the anger and the fighting, you know, and the violence. We forget to talk about the love of our scene, the love of our scene, and how a lot of times those cliques and the loyalty that we saw in them, you know, and the infighting, really, if you boil it down, it comes down to love and wanting to protect something we built because it was the only thing we had. You know what I mean? And really sticking with your friends, sticking with people who, you know, we were misfits who had felt like we didn't fit anywhere, and we found a place where we fit. And a lot of times those people in the mosh pit were more family to us than our families. You know what I mean? So there was so much love, and we don't talk enough about the love of the scene and the unity and the rise above and all that good stuff. That was like our rallying cry, that we could fight with each other, you know, like siblings do, you know. And it could be a knockdown drag out, but if you come for our scene, we were a united front. We were a united front. And I want to bring that back because there's so much polarization over bullshit, really, if you think about it. And one thing a lot of us can agree on is that, you know, children are innocent, you know, and every kid deserves a chance, right? So we can get together and agree to that, and we can pool our resources together as a community, and we can make sure that that kid has a warm meal, a warm coat, a hat, mittens, a sweater, maybe some warm, funky socks, and you know, something under the tree or at the menorah. Because this year, December 25th is not only Christmas, but it's also the first night of Hanukkah. So we're coming together, celebrating together, remembering together. You know what I mean? And we're here to help those who have less. Because some of us, a lot of us, were the have-nots. Forget about have less. We didn't have shit. We were the we don't have shits. You know, we don't even have that. You know what I mean? We're talking about people who lived in a squat who used their own poop as compost to grow gardens. I'm not kidding you. That actually happened. Okay, I saw it with my own eyes. I witnessed it. I came into a place where there were people 11 and 12 years old living in a band shell with a bonfire. Okay, so we need to talk about the love of the scene. How did they get past that? They got that past that through mutual aid by helping one another, you know, kind of in stone soup model where we each doing what we could or what we had and saw what became of it, you know. And a lot of that was done through the hardcore shows, a lot of the benefits and stuff, the squatters balls, the rent parties. Okay, so I don't want people to forget that. I don't want that to be wiped off of the history books. And I want people to experience that as close as possible to how I experienced. You can't go back, but I want the kids coming up, the musicians coming up to know. And I'm very proud of our younger musicians for, you know, the memories that they shared of all the wonderful things that Mr. Beery's did. You know, it really left an impact. And KJ Farrell's, they remembered the KJ Farrell's benefit, and they're so happy to be part of this. And And they're so happy to see other musicians coming on board and wanting to be on board and running other benefits at the same venue, and it being that whole weekend of giving, having a good time, having a couple beers, listening to some good music, and giving back. That definitely, it's really, I'm really, really thrilled about how it's developed. I'm really proud of Long Island. I'm really proud of Long Island for hearing that and immediately coming together the way that you guys have done. Good for you. You know what I mean? And I hope that will come out. Like, even if you can't really give much, if you just go to the 99-cent store and buy $1.25 set of mittens, and that's your ticket into the show, uh, that would be amazing. Because we said that it was a $15 suggested donation. And I just want to stress, it's a suggested donation. You don't have to pay $15 to get into the show. You can give $1, you can give $10, you can give $15. When we used to do the squatters balls in Lower Side, it was $5 or whatever you have. So we're doing that in the same spirit. But we do want you to please bring something. Bring a toy, bring a gift card, bring a scarf, bring a hat, bring something your grandma knitted. But please bring something to give to people in need for the St. Vincent de Paul Society to distribute to families that they work with. And if you want to make a donation in advance so that you don't have to stand in line at the door or be bothered, you can definitely do so. You can do so via Venmo. The Venmo is the at symbol, the spiral at symbol. Okay, go amok. Go, capital A, capital M, lowercase o, capital C, capital C. Go amok, as in run amok. Go amok. Okay, and uh the Cash App is the $ for the Cash App. Go amok, except it has an additional A. Go, capital A, capital A, capital M, small zero, capital C, capital C. Okay, and I'm going to put it in the comments section under here. We also have EVR codes for that. You can take your phone, scan the EVR code, and give your donation. It will go into an escrow account that the American Archives of Counterculture set up just for this event. The proceeds will go to St. Vincent de Paul Society of Long Island. Okay, I'm working with them. They're aware of the show. They're happy about it. And I'm working with them to get a representative from the Bethpage field office to maybe drop by or to let us know how to transfer those funds and bring those donations over to them quickly, because then we only have 10 days till the actual holiday, Christmas Eve, right? So we want to get it done quickly and get it over to them so that they get it along with the other great donations that are coming through Beery's uh in the next couple of weekends. Okay. Let's see. So you can easily scan it from home and just bring your receipt, and we won't hassle you for a donation at the door. Or if you come, we'll have the EVR codes. You can scan it with your phone there, or you can just roll up, give us a teddy bear, and you're in, man. But please do give, what you have. We'll take it. If you have clothes that are not new but lightly used and clean, that are warm, we'll take those too. We'll take used stuff. Bring your donations because it really does help people. And I think it's wonderful everybody is doing, but I want to share briefly and then be gone because I don't want to keep it too long, and I already see we're at 18 minutes, right? Why did I pick and why did other people pick St. Vincent de Paul? Because I spoke to the kids too, and we mentioned a couple of possible charities, and we came up, the young people, the young musicians, they agreed with St. Vincent de Paul. So did our MC, Mikey Keys, who I can't wait. Guy, you're amazing. So the reason we picked St. Vincent de Paul is because St. Vincent de Paul is not going to just like hand a kid who's in need a toy and I'll see you next year, kid, which I don't want to, that's a wonderful thing to have something. But what I love about St. Vincent de Paul is they send a caseworker from their church to your house. They're not there to judge you. They're not there to report you. They're not there to harm you. They're there generally to help because they answer to a higher calling, right? And they come there and they sit down at the table with your family and they give you a chance to get your emotions out and talk about what you're going through, why you're in crisis, why you're in need, what is your family's specific needs, what will help you at this time. And then they go back and they do it. and they're in it for the long haul. They will hold your case open for a year, sometimes longer, months, weeks, and they'll send people to check on you. You know, they'll drop food at your door. You know, there were times that my kid didn't have, and I didn't have any way of getting him to his college classes, and they rolled up here and gave him a Uber gift card so that he could get back and forth to his class, um, and finish his classes. There are times where things broke in the house and I didn't have money to pay a contractor to fix it, and I was concerned that it might be a hazard. I have two kids with, special needs. We can't have them living in hazardous anyway. Uh, Irrespective of special needs. When you have a child with special needs in the home, it becomes a even more of a concern. And you have, agencies coming in to give home services to them who inspect the house. You can lose the services if the house is not safe and in order. So they actually had people, lay volunteers in the community who were part of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, but who also were carpenters or electricians or painters or glaziers. And they came to my house. They fixed a broken window. They helped with the things that needed to be fixed, that me as a single mom struggling, and on Social Security disability, I couldn't afford it. And they fixed it. And they made sure that it was a safe place for our kids to be. To have the trade unionists who were lay volunteers come out and do that was mind blowing. And I love them for it. When I posted a while back, about a month ago on Facebook, please pray for my son because he was really struggling with viral pneumonia. It was really bad. We were really concerned about him. I got a text from one of the St. Vincent de Paul volunteers from the local church to go out to my steps, and the lady she had homemade chicken soup that she put in Tupperwares and she left on the doorstep. This is the type of help and the type of love and community involvement that the Society of St. Vincent de Paul brings to people. They do it all over the world, and they especially do it on Long Island. A lot of times we have people who are working poor who don't qualify for social services benefits. For They make X amount of dollars over the federal poverty limit, which is ridiculous, but they still need help. And these are the types of families that often get help through them. You know, your lights are about to get cut off. They help pay the light bill. You have a job interview and you don't have the money to buy a suit. They go into their thrift store and they give you a suit. Amazing stuff that they do. They run orphanages, they run group homes, they run women and men's shelters, they run homes for people who are unfortunately trafficked and in the life and want to get out of the life. To get out of the life, they have counseling. I mean, it's amazing. So it's very comprehensive services through the Catholic Charities system, and they're in it for the long haul. So this isn't a group who, they help you for a day just because it's a holiday that's declared. They help people 24/7, 365. And I can say that because me and my kids have been helped and continue to be helped by them. And when I mentioned that it was for this particular group, some of the people involved in the show got very it hit their heart, and they were able to share with me privately stories of how this particular group really helped them, or how they watched this group help their neighbor, or they watched this group help their grandmother, they watched this group help their mother when their family was struggling, and they don't care what religion or race you are. And they go by field offices. They go by field offices. So when we do the show at Beery's, it's going to be the Bethpage area field office. So the first community that's going to be helped is the community immediately near the venue. So you know that your donations that you're bringing into the door at our show on December 15th are going to go to the local people in that community, who an organization that sat down with them, came into their house and saw the situation, truly knows that these people are in need, knows exactly what they need, and know how to give it to them in a way that's going to be effective and help them get back on their feet, not keep them in poverty, not keep them in a state of need. And that is it's just amazing. And it is fully in line with Catholic Workers, who we know from Lower East Side, our sister Dorothy Day. Those of you may remember that work. It's fully in line with the concept of mutual aid, and it really is fully in line with the way that we used to run our benefit shows in that area. Okay, we want to help that community, that local group, because really, like, what is a musician if you don't have your fan base? What is a venue if you don't have the local community supporting your business, coming in, buying a beer? You know what I mean? It's nothing. So it's so important to give back. And I'm really glad that getting into touch with venue owners and musicians who do understand that we can't always do a labor of love. Everybody's got to get paid something. Everybody's got to eat and pay their bills. The economy is very hard right now. A lot of us are working 2 and 3 jobs just to maintain, just to be able to buy groceries, see a doctor, and keep a roof over our head all at the same time. It's like a juggling act, you know. We want to argue over politics, but we're all in the same economic situation right now. We just have different beliefs about how to fix it or how to address it, but we all agree that there's a lot that needs to be fixed, right? And one of the things that I've learned is we can't always wait for a savior. We have to be that person. We have to save ourselves. We have to come together and save ourselves. So you might have a spoon and I don't have one. You know what I'm saying? And I might have a cup and you don't have one. You know what I mean? And we put it together, and we have both. And that's mutual aid and that's what we're doing. So, it's how we get by. Anybody who's been through a natural disaster or a severe crisis knows that often the people most effective in helping you are your neighbors in your community, long before government or any other group. And I'm really happy to say that, we're doing this for St. Vincent de Paul because they're doing things based on that paradigm. Okay. And in the process, they're uniting communities. They're uniting instead of dividing and polarizing. They're uniting communities around what they can agree with, which is what we need to get back to, I believe, me personally. So I'm really glad to be doing this benefit. I look forward to it. I'm thinking about not performing because I have cold feet and I don't know if I can afford the backup musicians, to be really honest with you. I had to deal with the thermostat and some stuff in my house. Um, we'll see if I can still do it. There are people from my high school, my college days, who are coming out just to see me make an ass of myself on stage. So I may still do it just because I want them to come in the door and help the charity. And if me acting like, I love Lucy and being an idiot on stage is what's going to get them to come in there and make an ass of myself, then fine, I'll do it. I'll make a total jerk of myself up on stage like a dummy, hopefully not trip and fall, in order for them to please come and support. Please come out, support. Come out. Come on. Come out if you can. It's from 2 to 7, so it's a matinee. I don't know how much of us are lushes who are going to be drinking beer at 2 in the afternoon, but I encourage you to be a lush that day and drink beer at 2 and 3 in the afternoon and get really wasted and give lots and lots of money to the people at Mr. Beery's who are kind enough to give us their space for this event and all the other great events that are coming right before ours. You still have time to get home and sober up before you have to be at work tomorrow. So come get wasted at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, have something to eat, take an Uber home, sleep, rest, be sober by 9, and there you go. No hangover the next morning. I don't know what else to say, but thank you so much for the support that we've had so far. And I hope I see you guys on Sunday 15th, all right? And you got a little taste of me, what I'm going to sound like and look like with my little Lasso Santa Claus. And that song, Lasso Santa Claus, is actually a country song, a country carol from back in the day that talks about being Robin Hood and taking from the rich to give to the poor and questioning the commercialism and wanting to help, being a child and wanting to help other children who have less. And I can identify that because I stumbled into a place where I saw people, I had it kind of rough, but I saw people who had less. And it really touched me and stuck with me to this very day. I have so much love for people in the rooms and for people who struggle. I don't see not having money as a statement of your character. I genuinely do this because I like to feel that I've helped somebody. I don't have nothing to prove. I'm not doing this to try to get into heaven. I genuinely enjoy live music and I genuinely enjoy using live music to heal and to bring people together, to do positive things. So thank you very much for trusting in me to bring that to Long Island. This is my first Long Island show ever. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for your support. Please come out and see us, even if it's for an hour, and have a beer. Thank Mike Longo and the sound people, the bartenders, the people at breweries for being such a great beacon in the community for helping people. We also have other really great venues that do a lot of wonderful things. I know Mulcahy's is always doing something awesome, but it really warms my heart. And thank you so much. Okay. I'll see you guys on Sunday. And if you want to donate something and you can't come, but you do want to contribute, the EVR codes and stuff are in the comment section under this video. Or if you don't want to be standing in the cold on a line at the door, you know what I mean? You don't want to deal with, oh, okay, I got $20, I need change, whatever it is. Feel free to go ahead and just send your donation through EVR, show us the receipt. We won't hassle you and say, hey, there's a suggested donation, da, 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 da. You know what I mean? All right, so we'll see you then. Bless up.